I'm going to show you how to make my fantastic light and fluffy blueberry pancakes. It's something we make quite a lot of at Brompton Cookery School. We also do for breakfast for our B&B guests, and my kids absolutely love them. They are really delicious. So some really simple ways of getting started. First of all, grab yourself a bowl. First thing we're going to do is add our flour into that bowl. Now I use 135 grams of self-raising flour, okay? So that's going into our bowl. I then use a teaspoon of baking powder, okay? Just straight into there. 130 ml of milk, but actually milk is also in grams, so mils or grams, 130 is fine. That's going to go into here as well, onto the side. Then we've got 1 egg as well, so 1 sort of medium-sized egg straight in there. Okay, and then we're just going to give this a good stir together to beat and bind all this mixture in. Okay. Now, if you wanted to make these as a gluten-free version, you could just use a simple rice flour with self-raising. So they do, of course, gluten-free self-raising flour, which will be fine. That would work just as well. And you could use some gluten-free baking powder in there, okay? There's other little things you can add in here as well if you wanted to. If you wanted to, of course, omit the egg and take the egg out, you could add a little bit more liquid with the milk. Or alternatively, you could use a really nice diced banana as well. That works fantastically well in pancakes. Let's give this a good beat together. Get all those bits around the edges. Okay. I'm going to put a tiny little pinch of salt in there. Okay, and then we've got around about 150 grams of blueberries, and these are fantastic to add in fresh if you can, much better, because as they cook, of course, they warm up and they just start to burst. So I'm just going to fold these into our mixture, bring those together, and you end up with this sort of nice sticky dough, which you can see. Look at that, absolutely fantastic. Now, next thing we need to do is to warm our pan up. So it's going to get some heat in our pan, around about a sort of medium heat, nothing too high, okay. And then we want to put a little touch of oil in there and into our pan. We're going to go with a couple of spoonfuls of these, so nice big spoonful in here. And just give it a little push down just to make your pancake shapes, okay. They're going to flat down a little bit anyway. They'll start to sit down and create their own shapes. And you could use other varieties of fruit if you wanted to as well. So if you did have any, for example, some fresh cherries, anything like that would work quite nicely. And now we're just going to keep an eye on these pancakes, and what's going to happen is they're going to start to rise slightly, so you're going to get a really lovely little layer. Okay, as soon as that heat starts to get in the pan, they're going to start to increase in size, and these will take roughly about a minute or so, a minute and a half each side, and then we're going to flip them over and then get a little bit of colour on the other side and allow them just to cook through before we serve them. And then just towards the end of cooking, you can just turn the heat down a little bit just to allow them to cook through in the middle. And if you want, I sometimes quite like just putting a little drop of butter into the pan just to enrich them and give them a lovely nice glaze. But again, if you didn't want to use butter, you could just use a little bit of coconut oil to give them that lovely shine and finish. Okay, and again, you can just flip these over. So I'm going to pop these over here onto our plate. Bring these over to here. So the last thing we need to do with our fantastic light and fluffy pancakes is to serve them with something. And my favourite is maple syrup. So I've got some maple syrup here, which I'm just going to pour over the top of these just to finish them off. And just a good drizzle of this just to go over those. And you could use maple syrup, you could use a touch of honey, you could use some agave syrup if you didn't want the honey or those ones for the vegans out there. And that is it, my fantastic, tasty blueberry pancakes. And there's only one thing left to do, and that is for me to take a big bite. Oh.